Okay. And okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the State of the Fruit. We're both here, but also not here. One new addition for the show and tell is a little kid, so we're not going to be able to be in the same room in case kid starts wanting to be on the show and tell or be fed. So one of us will be able to do stuff, and I'm also expecting delivery. So welcome to Show and Tell, where we kind of just stop everything what we're doing and try to do a show and tell. There's Adafruit folks that are here that are going to show off some of their upcoming projects, current projects, and more. And then we have some folks from the community. And if you don't make it this week, that's okay. If you're watching this already recorded, come by every week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Show and Tell. It's the longest running show and tell online. All right, Lamar, what are you doing this week before we dive into what everyone else is doing?
Well, I'm feeding a baby, but we got a couple sensor breakout designs that we're doing. I'm getting back. I did that Freency design, my open source TNC pinout compatible board with the RP2350. And I'm also planning on making a bigger version that's pinout compatible with the TNC 4.1, which I think we've codenamed GigaChad. And that'll be using the 2350B. So lots of pins. So people, who want like tons of pins, and an open source board that's drop-in compatible for most uses. I think it'll be good. Plus working on codename Club AdaBox stuff, synthesizers. We're going to reverse engineer this Teenage Engineering microphone. Yeah, we're just gearing it up, and we're also going to get a really cool table/storage/flat file for our art frame from Bantam. That's the drawing robot that we picked up.
Yep.
That's what happened. What we went on to do with Wendell and Lenore, and we picked one up, but we haven't been able to use it very much because it's on the floor. So we're getting from Craigslist.
You did Craigslist stuff. Facebook Marketplace. I wasn't ready for that tonight. So anyhow,
there's a guy who's like 2 blocks away, and he's like, "Yeah, I have like a 4 foot by 3 foot flat file that I'm selling. I want to get rid of it." I'm like, "Perfect, bring it over tonight." And so you'll see some cool art drawing robot stuff.
Yeah.
And also I played with my embroidery machine that I got myself for Christmas, Hanukkah. Right. So we did some embroidery, which was super fun as well. That's what I've been up to. Nothing really, just, enjoying my maternity leave.
All right.
Feeding a baby. Long baby, long.
Be large. Okay, let's start with Scott, and then we'll go to Erin next. Scott, what do you got going on?
Hello. I'm getting back in the office after a bit of daycare sickness, which you're familiar with. And I'm wrapping up the Yodo Mini hacking. And so I have the guts here of a Yodo Mini. So I got the display working today. This has been tougher than I thought. One, because the chip select and the data command line is on an I/O expander. So I've added native I/O expander pin support for doing those. And then I had to figure out that this display is not what we thought it was, but now I've got it initialized and running. I got to put it back in the case so I don't have to hold it like this, but made good progress on that. I had 2 small kids, and I'm hoping to get it where I can have them be able to play the music that they want to play, which will be amazing.
Yeah, kind of a cool device. Obviously, they probably used Adafruit stuff. Prototype, whatever, that seems to be a trend, but it seems like it's unlocked enough to do some things that we want to do. Sometimes companies do too much of a job where it's unrepairable and you can't do anything, especially after things turn off. But this is the case where if you want to have songs and they're not part of this catalog, because there's licensing and all this stuff, and who knows what's going to happen with catalogs and music. How do you get the music on these devices? Well, turns out you can do it. So we're going to show how to do that and more on a cool device it's a great enclosure anyways. Like there's a lot of fun things that you can do just with the hardware itself besides music.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hoping to bring it all up and be able to get some music on there. The web workflow has been working great when I've been using it.
Cool. All right, you got anything to add on that, Lamar, before we go? Oh, you're muted, Lamar.
Hi. Sorry, this baby's like farting like a storm. That's all they do, right? What I thought was neat is like, you need to use an app to use this music player, and I thought, which is fair, I get it. You know, they have like to make the interface easy for people to use. It's like you have to use a phone app, and that uses their server. But you know, I'm always cognizant of like, well, what if the servers stop working? If the company gets sold? If you know, like one of the things that we talked about with Saul Griffith like 20 years ago, Phil, was this idea of heirloom electronics. Is there a way that we can make sure that the electronics that we're designing last as long as a wooden cabinet made, you know, hundreds of years ago? And like I understand like parts may not be available, but trying to make sure that stuff is dependent on a website that may or may not exist in a few years, I think is always a noble purpose. You know, also we got notice today, like I think Lego is discontinuing Spike Prime, and like, you know, do that use an app? Can people still use those devices even after
It all does.
Continued? Maybe she run CircuitPython.
Well, there is one thing that you can always do is, do text files open? Can it show up as a USB drive? Does it open up JPEGs and MP3s and all the standard assets that are probably never going to go away? Yeah. And
USB mass storage is forever, dude. Like that's one thing. It's like, I'm not worried about that. As long as it shows up as a USB mass storage, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long?
Unfortunately, this does not, because it's USB 32.
But just show up as a USB serial device, which I also think is going to be around for a long time.
I think one of the check boxes, like, oh, I like this thing a lot, let me store it or put it away or give it away. If it requires an app, it is a dead end. I mean, certificates expire. Even if it's in the App Store, it comes and goes. Now it's a different country, or who knows what is going to happen. So if it's an app, then try to find a way around it. There's some people like run servers to get it. They'll find the retired domain name and just start running a server to serve the devices that are kind of died after the companies left them. Okay, thanks so much, Scott. And when is your next deep dive video?
Planning on deep diving on Friday with the CircuitPython 2026 wrap up. Talked about mine last Friday, which was more about how I think Cloud Code and friends are going to change how I code and how we code CircuitPython as well, rather than like what my goals are, which is still quite Zephyr focused, just like last year was.
Yeah. There's a lot of especially for, I think, people who write a lot of code, like you and more, it's extremely powerful and helpful because your stuff that you're doing with, I get that people have criticisms if someone's typing like, make me an Arduino library, like, or make me Arduino, like that's going to be probably some of the Morse code, but it's not the same as people that do this hours and hours a day where you're getting rid of some of the tedious things.
Yeah, and tedious is the key word to me. Like, I was just looking at this change for the Yodo stuff, and it's like, oh, I like, there were some functions that returned like error numbers, right? And I was like, I'd like it if they actually told me they were returning error numbers instead of ints. So I just said, Claude, like, use this thing instead, and I did a lot of cleanup along the way. It means I've touched more files. But generally, I think it makes it easier for us to maintain stuff within CircuitPython.
Yeah, more hardware, more software from people who release open source. We're in a weird spot because we purposely put our stuff out there to be used pretty much anyway possible. And, I see Laura's fingerprints in lots of the examples that the AI code makers make, which is fine. But when it's her, she says, hey, it's me. It's kind of a different scenario. Probably different for you too. Okay, cool. All right. Maybe I'll turn the deep dive. All right. Thank you, Scott. All righty. Let's go to Erin.
Hello.
What's going on this week?
Hey, I have a fun project that about to launch the tutorial probably tomorrow. And this is sort of a beginner project. I've been getting really into edge-lit acrylic lately. And what I got here is a little light writing slate. So basically it's just some neopixels on the edge of a piece of 1/4-inch acrylic, which makes the whole thing glow. And then I've got these really cool markers, they're called liquid chalk markers. And when you write on them and then you light it, as you can see, they sort of glow, which is
that looks so cool.
Yeah. And then like for the mandala, I just printed out a page from the internet and put it underneath and traced it with all the different colors. And I don't know how well you can see it, but like it really looks like it pulses and changes with the different colors of the LEDs as they animate. It's pretty neat. It makes the whole thing kind of look like it's pulsing and alive. A lot of fun. And like I said, I'm going to have about a tutorial. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit brighter and yeah, looking cool. So this is fun. It's a great like kid project too. Like the kids I live with are having a great time playing with this thing and just drawing pictures and that kind of thing. And then you can just erase it and do it over. So it make a good like sign for your store or something like that too.
Yeah. There's a bunch of Edge-Lit projects that we have because we could put the nudes on them. We can put colors on top. We can paint. Some of the things that might be coming soon is we're I think I sent it over and Lamar looked at it. We saw these fans that they were pieces of cut acrylic, and it's like, oh, and it expanded out. It's like, oh, we could light that up. We could do an Edge-Lit fan or something like that. So that might be neat. Okay, thanks so much, Erin.
Thank you.
Cool. Next up, I think Lamar's tuning maybe right now. So, Liz, what you got going on this week?
Hello. So big news is I cleaned my desk.
Yay.
But also I've been working on this project that's kind of homage to this community project called the Basin, which is this little breakout board that lets people take these organ foot pedals and convert them to MIDI to control synths when they're playing guitar on stage and stuff. So this though is using a Pico 2 with our terminal block Pi cowbell, and then a MIDI jack to send MIDI out with CircuitPython. And then I have this enclosure here that I drilled out holes for, so that we have like a keyboard pattern and then 2 extra buttons for, control change or MIDI channel change. And then inside, you can see the wiring, just sharing ground, and then each one is going to be connected to a pin on the Pico to trigger a note. And then I will quickly share my screen so you can see that MIDI is working.
Yeah.
I like using this thing called MIDI that lets you see the MIDI messages coming in. So you can see when I press these two, we've got a note on, note off coming on. I just have those two hooked up for testing. So I'm, in the middle of documenting this. Next up, I'll get pictures of wiring everything up to the terminal blocks. And then for power, I do have a DC jack to our NPM 3610, which is a 5-volt buck converter, which means we can take in 9 volts from a standard guitar pedal power supply and convert it down to 5 volts to power the Pico. So that'll be on there too. And so hopefully a guide will be up next week.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Liz.
No problem. Have a good one.
Next up, I'm flying solo for now, but that's okay. I've done this before. I must get. Jeremy was here, and then
I'm here in spirit. I'm changing a baby.
I was just about to call on the next person, but he dropped off. Maybe it's a connection thing, or maybe he's like, "Whoa, stage fright." So I am going to call it more. If there's nobody here besides us,
Okay.
I'll give Jeremy another second if he's coming back in. I think maybe internet connection went down. I think this is it with a few minutes to spare.
Okay, sweet. Well, it's good we're getting back into the swing of things. So it's exciting. Okay. New year, new us.
Yeah.
Background bullshit. Break time's over. I think we'll start seeing more people, especially maybe this weekend. Everyone's going to stay in and work on hardware.
Yeah, we also, during the, 10, 15 years we've been doing this, we usually invite people specifically, like, oh, come here on Wednesday, but we have to know that we're going to be doing it every week. So right now, obviously there's a camera thing going on. It's black and white. We have a lot of things going on. We're trying to do a setup where there's the two of us at a table podcast style, so we can have guests and do things on the screen. I think people are used to seeing a certain style with what's considered a video podcast. So we want to have like some segments that we can pre-record or do live, and then we have a bunch of things going on here in the workshop. So it'll be Jeremy's here. So we'll have more like behind the scenes as soon as there's some.
Yeah. No, I just fell asleep today.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to videoing soon.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy, welcome aboard. I knew you were around, so what you got to share this week?
Thank you. Yeah, I had a little technical difficulties, but fingers crossed everything will work here. So last week, PT, you mentioned the Are You Dead app from China, and
I thought it was a little sad.
Yeah, and it turns out that I had that same issue in my life, and already have a little device for it. So my mom's been living alone for a while. She was concerned that something might happen. Nobody would know for a few days. So we started doing this thing where we just text each other every morning. And I wanted to do something a little bit more fun, a little more interactive. So what I did was, I'm going to carefully hold this up here and hopefully not drop it.
Yeah, see, this is way better than that app where it's like you just wake up and like, okay, I'm around. I was like, there has to be something better than that.
Yeah, so I got this. This is just a Simon game, a cheap knockoff off of Amazon for like $6. And then I ripped the guts out of it and I stuck in a Raspberry Pi Pico. And the way it works is every morning my mom will press one or more of the buttons. I'm just going to simulate a couple of button presses here. And so the red one just turned on, and I'll do the green. And so the green light came on, and then when I come downstairs in the morning and I see that these lights are on, I'll just tap the same ones that she did to turn them back off. And then once that happens, then both of our units go into this pulsing mode. And so at this point, we know that we're both alive and awake and everything's good. And then if you press it one more time, that resets the device, but it also plays a little song. And the songs are all randomized. It's just little video game fanfare ditties. And yeah, so it's just a nice little way in the morning just to say hello and hear a happy little song and get our days going.
Fantastic. See,
Yeah, I actually totally love that. Can we steal that idea? Because I actually want to do something like that. But I actually also think, one thing I've heard of is people who want to do their New Year's resolutions, they'll team up with someone and be like, okay, I'm going to do my resolution. If you do the resolution, then together we'll do it. And so it'd be funny if, like, when you press the red button, it's like, okay, I did my 5-minute meditation for the morning. And the yellow is like, okay, I had breakfast before I checked email. And so you can share with somebody else, like, let's do together these four things to make also, like, yes, you're alive, but also like, hey, let's check off these 4 things in our day.
I like it. Yeah.
I like that case. What a great idea to take something and it's like,
Yeah, just a cheap Chinese knockoff toy, and repurpose.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, the framing, this could be so much better. Because remember when I was a kid, like, when you go swimming, make sure you have the buddy system or something. There's always things where it's like you're doing something together or you're synchronizing something or you're sharing information. It's not just like a transaction. There is communication even without words. There was a toy a while ago where one person hugs it and the other person knows they just hugged it. So there's a lot of missed opportunities. I think when things are centered around a phone, it's a lot different than physical hardware. That's why we like physical hardware.
Yeah. So the schematics and the code all upload to GitHub. So I'll post that in the Discord chat as soon as we're done here.
Yeah. And
please do. We'd love to log up.
Okay, one more. Oh. Yeah, if you email me, I'll do a post and I'll link to the original one, the story that we all saw, and we're like, this would be neat to do something with Adafruit.io, or there'd be neat to have like little sculptures that light up, or something that was just more than
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
So cool. All right, that's our show and tell this week. We're gonna bounce and get ready to do the next thing. We'll see if we get a video that we can post tonight, but otherwise there'll be some stuff coming soon because this is all you can't see behind her, but there's electronics everywhere.
A lot's going on. It's like a lot is, it's I went to this like mom's meeting yesterday and the theme was trees, their roots grow during the winter so they can have fruit in the spring. So our roots are growing right now. They're going deep.
Right. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Like absorbing the water and nutrients.
All right.
I feel like we're doing that.
That's right.
Also absorbing a lot of drip drops.
Yeah. Everyone's like, all right. That's our show and tell for the week, everyone. Batten down the hatches if you're on the East Coast because it's going to be warm. If we're trapped here, we'll try to do some broadcasts or more. Keep everybody company who's staying home, making things and shoveling things. We'll see everybody next week. Show and tell 7:30 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.